Hello, welcome back to another video. My name is Gemma and I'm with my awesome friend Charlie from Charlie Book Reads. If you know me, you know Charlie. And we're going to be talking about the Nero Book Awards shortlists, which is exciting. Let us know if you are here in the comments. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the 4 different categories. They have all had 4 books nominated for the shortlist. Charlie is the data girl. Charlie has all of the important information. I am just here for aesthetics, basically.
At all. That is not true at all.
I'm completely unorganized. I have seen the list. Me and Charlie did talk about it this morning, but then I have been busy all day. I've done nothing. So
Not sure that I know a lot about the actual premises of all of the books. So anyone in the comments, obviously you guys just tell us all the things you know about all the books. If you've read any of them, let us know. We want to know.
We want to know all the things. And we've got some regulars here. So hello. Amelia and Jen. Ben, you did remember Ben. I'm impressed. Don't forget to like the video. Oh, thanks, Amelia. Thanks. I always forget to say that. So, the 4 categories are children's, debut fiction, fiction, and non-fiction.
Which we love.
We love those as categories. So, where do you want to start, Charlie B?
Let's start with the children's and then work our way.
Start
Is that
with
on the website like that?
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Look how organised I am.
That is amazing.
I know. I managed to look up the website and everything.
So, The Chronicles of a Lizard was released the 5th of September 2021.
21?
No, not 2021, 2024. I'm not talking correctly. You can tell this is a really good start to it. They're all 2024 releases, as far as obviously they're all 2024. They have to be all 2024 releases to be part of this prize, obviously. I should have prefaced that actually and said about the dates, but I'm not entirely sure what the qualifying dates are. But I'm sure that it's a 2024 list. So anyway, yes. So the 5th of September it was released, so not that long ago.
No.
And this one is 176 pages, and it's got an average star rating, because we're using on Storygraph, we've got an average star rating of 4.23, which is quite good.
Pretty good.
And it looks like, obviously, it looks quite, I guess it does what it saes on the tin, I guess.
It looks like younger children's, doesn't it? So it's one that potentially I would be interested in for Charlie. Not Charlie, my little Charlie, little Charlie. If anyone's not aware, I have a son also called Charlie, who is little Charlie, and this is big Charlie.
But all Charlies are accepted into the Charlie Club, so Charlie, your Charlie is, and Charlie is a supreme being. Your Charlie is a supreme being, obviously. I would always think that. It just looks like a fun little middle grade. I don't really know too much about it. You said it's like. It looks sort of, there's nothing offensive about it. It looks quite universally appealing, I would say. That Charlie.
Okay, we have to ask Daddy, darling. I'm on a live. Well, take it up with Daddy. Sorry about that.
That's all right. The next one on the list we've got in this category is How to Survive a Horror Movie, which, first of all, when I saw that in the children's fiction, I don't know about you, but I was like, oh. So we haven't seen
older children.
Yeah, I think it's like YA, but it's also, when I looked up words about it, I think it said about speaking of Charlies, there is a Charlie as a main character in this book.
Charlie's everywhere.
It's spelt differently. I think I'm fairly certain the lead character is a female, but I'm not entirely sure, not having read it. But I also know this. It says on the markers on this book, it also registers it as queer. So that's like a cool thing as well. But yeah, I think it's like an adventure-y, horror-y, quite light-hearted. I'm considering horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I don't imagine, obviously, being in this category, I can't imagine it being anything too heavy.
No.
But yeah. What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't think I would read it. I think it's probably leaning too into YA for me.
Yeah.
I kind of like my children's books to be like properly middle grade, or I like adult. I don't like that sort of middle
That's fair enough.
middle
I think
ground.
I forgot to mention the Storygraph rating is 3.79 on this one. So yeah, not too bad. For the next one on the list we've got is Bird Boy by Catherine Bruton. Was that how you say it?
Could be.
Yeah. And I haven't really written any notes on this, but the main thing I've noticed, so this came out on the 5th of May, but considering it came out on the 5th of May, I don't think there's a load of ratings on it. So I don't think this is like a super well read book or super well known about book necessarily, which is like that's a good thing, because that means more people, hopefully it'll be exciting, more people discovering it because of the prize. So
yeah, no, I like that about the prize as well. It's definitely highlighting some less well-known books, especially like books that are less well-known in our sphere of booktube, right? But this is one of the covers that I would go for in a bookshop. I would go to this. So like just looking at the description on it, it looks like it's about grief and a boy like using birds to sort of grow. So it sounds pretty cute. It sounds pretty cute.
The publisher, I think, is a good, reliable publisher, because I'm fairly certain I've heard Jack talk about some of the books from that publisher before.
Oh, okay.
Fairly certain. Could be wrong. And then the last book on the children's fiction is The 12 by Liz Hyder, and that is 253 pages. It was released on the 10th of October, so again, not too long ago, and it has an average star rating of 3.94. And I know it's about magical realism. That's the words that I've written down for that.
Yeah, and ecological turmoil I'm picking out of the blurb there. So that looks quite fun for ages 11 plus. Oh, that's quite good that it tells you the age.
Oh, that's really good.
On the other ones, actually.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, I didn't say it on the other one.
Oh, there you
go. So that's an 11 plus, the horror movie one.
Yeah, I think I've heard of. I've seen Jen in the comments saying about she's read an adult book by Liz Hyder, and I'm fairly certain it's an author I've heard of.
So the gifts by Liz.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I have got that on my Kindle, and I think that was on the back of Jen's review of it. So yeah, that's cool. Excellent. So we're not going to labour children's, I don't think, are we, Charlie?
No. I wouldn't have expected that we would. So if you've read any in the comments have read any of the children, let us know.
Jenna said yes, it was the gifts.
Yeah.
See, memory like an elephant, like an elephant.
And it's because it's on your Kindle of Dreams. Anything on your Kindle of Dreams.
On the Kindle of Dreams. It's on the Kindle of Dreams. So the debut fiction. So there's 2 on here straight away that I recognise. I expect you were the same.
Do you want to talk about those?
Let's talk about those. So I've read one. I've read Wild Houses by Colin Barrett because it was longlisted for the Booker Prize. I thought it was a fun ride. I wouldn't say it was anything special, really. I thought it was enjoyable enough to read at the time, but it's not one of those books that stayed with me. I do own Glorious Exploits as well. And I know Ben really rated that one. And I want to get to it. I think it's set in ancient Greece.
Yeah, but I think it's got like an Irish twist to it, isn't it? It's like somehow like.
Yeah, and I think it brings in like plays and theatre and that sort of thing.
It's one I feel like I've heard lots about, but I can't remember all the details.
So because that was nominated for the Waterstones Debut Fiction Prize as well. Won, I think, actually.
Yeah. It's got a lot of hype, I think. But all of this whole whole like debut fiction list, I think they all look. I mean, I haven't read any of them, but like Wild Houses was one I wanted to get to, but kind of like just life got in the way. So, so all of them, I think they just sound really interesting. Wild Houses, again, it was released 25th January. You all know about that. It's got an average good Storygraph rating of 3.78, which, considering how many like actual ratings it's had, I think that's quite good. And it's 255 pages long. So I think, again, all of these, none of these look super long on the page length. None of them are super long pages.
Yeah.
And then Monumenta, going on to Monumenta by Lara Hayworth. It was released the 4th of July. this is the shorty, I would say, like particularly the shorty for in terms of fiction, especially. It's 100, as Ange said this morning. This is the first one I remember Ange talked about this morning, and she was mentioned it. It's 127 pages. This does only have a 3.29 rating on Storygraph, which does put me off a little bit. But the cover is beautiful, and the premise does sound quite. Well, I think the premise.
This is one about her home is being demolished and they're putting a monument up. Yeah. So it does sound interesting. The problem for me is that this one isn't really available through Everand or Libby, and because it's a novella, I get a bit grumpy about paying full price for a hardback novella. I just
honestly, hopefully the libraries will start picking it up and we can all just get hold of it, and or it'll go on Everand and make it like it'll be just more. Now it's on the prize. Hopefully it'll be more available soon. Like it's be a bit more accessible, because especially this time of year. Oh, okay.
Ben's saying it's giving Study of Obedience vibes. You like that, didn't you, Charlie?
I did. I loved it. Yeah.
So maybe it's a Charlie book. I have a feeling based on that it's not a me book.
I'm not like hugely drawn to it, but the cover's gorgeous. And like the things in my notes I put, the house has been it's been repossessed or whatever, and then so Olga, something like the danger, they flee with her daughter and her son, flee to Belgrade, and it's like, but it feels like it's. I remember reading the blurb and thinking it sounds like it's trying to do an awful lot for 127 pages. So my concern with that would be, can it land it? I don't know.
Amelia's saying it sounds like her cup of tea, which is making me think more and more that it's not my cup of tea. So in 2 comments, Ben and Amelia have crossed that off my list to read.
Saying things would make a lot of people like potentially like eyes light up and stuff like that. So like you said, Then we've got obviously Glorious Exploit, 18th of January. I think this is like one of the earlier ones on all of the lists that came out. So it's the one that again loads of people know about, as we already said. And it's got an average rating actually, which is quite high actually, interestingly, 4.21. So I think this has got quite a universal appeal.
So Amelia said that she bailed on it, but Ben loved it. So if Amelia bailed again, that's a good sign. Good sign.
And I know Louise Savage loved this. It was her favorite book of the month one time.
Okay, nice.
So yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna get to that one soon.
And then we've got No Small Thing by Orlane MacDonald, I think.
Yeah.
That again, so I think this is about mothers and daughters. That's the words I wrote down, which I was instantly. This is probably the one out of the whole of the books on all of the lists that I'm like, I immediately want to get to. It just seems like a very me book. There's just something about it that and it's got an average star rating of 4.79, but that could be because there's not really many ratings on it, which is why.
When did you say it was released?
The 18th of July, but it's just hasn't had enough, like people don't know about it, because that's again with the Noisy Crow one, the Bird Boy one. So it does look, based upon the little things that I have read about it being this mother-daughter relationship thing, it does sound quite good.
That does sound like a me thing as well.
And it's 256 pages, so it's not super long anyway. So
yeah, Ben is on #Team Ben. And Amelia is recommended that I listen to Ben rather than her. Amelia knows me too well. Oh dear, but no, I'm interested in that one. I quite like a mother and daughter.
Yeah, just something about it. It just seems. I was like,
yeah, it's one of the ones that I have never heard of, so I'm always keen.
That's just why we love this prize. It always comes up with stonkers, like I say always, because this is the really second year.
Okay, we'll move into what I think is my favourite shortlist of the 4. Maybe it's between this and non-fiction. And the only one on here that I'd heard of was the Donal Ryan. So
I'd heard of the Lost in the Garden because of Jen in the comments.
mm.
And also I remember Mercedes talking about it, and I think I'm fairly certain she's read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's start with this one, Levitation for Beginners by Susanna
Right.
Dunn, which, I mean, let's just talk about that title. That's a brilliant title. And I love this cover as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
It looks really good. Yeah, I've got so that was it was released on the 4th of April. It's 266 pages, and I know what I've written something about Suzanne Dunn. She's got quite a backlist. Obviously I know that this is the fiction prize, not the debut fiction, so obviously a lot of these authors will have a big backlist, but she's not an author that I've really heard about before, and yeah, she's got such a long backlist of like historical fiction, and I think this is historical fiction as well. Fairly certain. The cover doesn't hugely give me historical fiction for some reason, but I know the premise possibly is that. And it's been compared. Lots of people have compared it to like Claire Chambers, I think.
Claire Chambers blurbed it. I think I saw somewhere. But yeah, I think it's about like a girls' school, and yeah, it could either be really good or really, really awful. So yes.
And I think what did I write about the average? Yeah, the average star rating for it is 3.66, but again, that's not terrible. That's okay, like, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Jen is saying the fiction shortlist looks so good. Have to agree. This is Martha, right? Happy Knitter?
Yes.
I bought Lost in the Garden from our fantastic local independent bookshop, Dead Ink Books. Oh, nice!
That's the actual publisher. So I'm fairly certain Dead Ink Books, that's the publisher of it as well. So because Jen's in the comments, you can correct me. Yeah. So this we could use. I know obviously if Ben's in the comments as well, you like Dead Ink publishers are I'm fairly certain they're an indie publisher, and therefore this book could be used for this month's Ben Reed's good prompt of Indie December. Obviously, so I'm fairly certain this book counts for that. Not this book, but the
other one. The cover is so banging that I feel like that's a phrase that I would never say. It's really weird coming out of my mouth. Had this on my long list for the Women's Prize predictions. Interesting. And almost bought it anyway on the strength of the cover alone. And now you can buy it because it's on this shortlist, Ben. So it all comes out in the wash. Jen has The Lost Garden, although not read it yet. And also wanted to read Levitation and The Hypocrite.
It looks really good. It does look really good. Yes.
Dead Ink is local to me too.
That's how I'd heard about it. It's because of Jen.
It's up north. I met Adam Leslie. Who's Adam Leslie? Is that one
the
of the
author of the Dead Ink book one?
This
in the Garden.
One.
Yeah. Would you want to head to that one next? We can head to that one next. Or
we can.
Yeah.
I find it funny that it's a debut on the list, but not on the debut list. Oh, how strange. That is weird.
Yeah.
Very eligible for this month's Ben Reed's Good Challenge. All right, let's go to Lost in the Garden now.
Yeah, let's go for that then. It was released on the 16th of May. It's 446 pages, so it's not like it's probably one of the longer ones on the list. It's not long though, but like compared to the rest of the books on all the lists.
I don't think the audio is that long, so maybe there's a lot of like blank space in it.
Oh, maybe, yeah, like vignettes and stuff, maybe. And the notes I've got about this is that it says horror, dark, slow paced. So yeah, I think it's got an average rating of 3.8, which isn't bad considering, horror is not necessarily. I think based upon the cover, if people picking this up might assume it might be lighter than it is, and then pick it up and then rate it lower, which could be an issue, couldn't it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's quite a good rating considering.
Okay, so 11 and a half hours audio, so that's probably about right.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I thought it was interesting when I looked up on whatever I looked up on, and then it came up as horror. We don't often see horror on any of the prize lists that we follow, so it's quite nice to see something a bit different,
It's like looks to me like sort of literary horror, obviously.
Yeah,
that kind of like traveling that fine line. Yeah. So,
okay. Go for the Hypocrite.
Yeah, go for the Hypocrite. This is Another shorty. It's 136 pages. It was released the 25th of April. And it has an average rating of 3.71. Again, not too bad. And it says that I've got written down about this is it's something to do with like the staging of a play. And again, it's been compared to like Rachel Cusk and Deborah Levy, which they're not like, for me personally. So for some people, this will be like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But for me personally, as a Charlie, those are two authors that I've DNF'd quite a lot. So it's not like one that based upon that, but I might sample it anyway and like put aside those comparisons and do like a Kindle sample, baby.
Yeah, I would sample it. I'm not sure if it would be my jam either.
Yeah, the cover doesn't look very you. Like, look at
no. So I mean, I don't think it's going to be a me, but
maybe it's going to be like as well because if it's like to do with the theatre and stuff, is it going to be a bit artsy and that kind of?
Yeah, that's not me. Oh dear. Okay, so the last one on the fiction list
we've got is Heart to Be at Peace, and this is actually a companion novel to one of Donald Ryan's previous books, which is The Spinning Heart. Just in case anyone wanted to know that. And it was released. Where are our notes? It was released the 8th of August, so not that long ago. And I can't see where my average star rating is. I've written it all over the place. 4.01. So actually, it's got quite a good rating.
Yeah, he's definitely growing as an author of influence now. I think Donald Ryan. I see him sort of all over the shop now.
I've read one book by him that I literally loved with all my heart, and it was like I was like hugging it and just adoring it like Charlie does. And then I read another book that I was starting to struggle with. I can't actually remember the name of the book that I was struggling with. And then I had a problem that made me realise an issue with his writing style, which is that often one of his stylistic choices is to put lots of ands in his writing. You know this because I've told you it. And then now I just can't unsee it. So I'm hoping if I was to get to this, I'd have to listen to the audio to try and block out all the ands.
Oh, Ben's saying that he's heard that you should read The Spinning Heart first.
Good.
But that's also short.
Yeah.
Amelia's saying not read any Donald Ryan, and this sounds interesting. Yeah, I think it sounds interesting too. And I have been meaning to get to him for a while, so maybe this is my opportunity. Who knows?
Go for it.
Okay. Non-fiction.
This is exciting, isn't it? It's really exciting, this list.
I'm really excited about 3 of these.
I want everyone in the comments make one guess and see which one you think that Gem's not excited for. Words fine art being a clue.
Yes. Well, let's start with that one, shall we? All That Glitters. I love the cover.
Yeah. So this is obviously it says it was released the 2nd of May 2024. It was got an average rating of 3.54 and it's 336 pages.
Yeah.
And it's obviously about it's a like sort of memoir-esque about this guy's life. This guy, Phil. No, what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Phil Brick.
Yeah, that guy. And it was obviously told by the author because they're like friends, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really hate art.
But
this is more about corruption. So I don't know, maybe, but like if art's in the subtitle, it is an automatic turn off for me.
Maybe wait to hear what people think about it as they read it, and then see what see, there you go.
Oh, Martha liked it.
That's good. There you go.
That's interesting.
I trust Martha's opinion.
Tell us if art haters would enjoy it. I DNF'd Thunderclap just to yeah. Oh, it's more about fraud and friendship. Oh well, I can do a fraud and friendship. That's fine.
Fraud and friendship. That's fine.
Gem likes corruption, but hates that. Exactly. That's true. I have my priorities right, Jen. So yeah.
Yeah, an art memoir aren't the words that turn you on, is it? Sorry, it's not.
No. Okay, this one I'm excited for, and this is more of a chunky one, I believe, isn't it?
It
Charlie?
is. Well, it's not too. It's 541 pages. I wouldn't say it's too chunky, but I'm guessing it. Maybe the writing is quite small and it packs a lot in. But yeah, it's got. So this was released on the 18th of April. So it's actually eligible for next year's Women's Non-Fiction Prize. I've put it in my notes, and so it's an average star rating of 4.29, which I think that's really good. That's very, very high.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously it does what it says in the tin in terms of it sort of goes into about ancient civilizations, and it says about remarkable kings and queens, and it's a sweeping history told by the voices of the African people. That's what I've written.
That sounds amazing. I have had my eye on this for a while. Amelia saying that it's on her wish list as well. I had seen it in Waterstones a couple of times and nearly picked it up. I mean, the cover is awesome.
Stunning. Yeah,
awesome cover. And I just think it's a really interesting topic. And I don't think I've seen like a history put together like that in a way that's for more commercial consumption. So I think could be really good.
I definitely might think about this one on audio potentially as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, Maurice.
You know about this one because this is one you put on your non-women's prize. Speaking of non-women's prize, non-fiction predictions, didn't you?
I did predict this one. So yeah, to be honest, that was quite a long time ago, Charlie. So the details are somewhat fuzzy.
Okay. Well, it was it was released the 29th of sorry, all my writers because all smushed in. I'm trying to fit it all in. The 29th of February, it was released. It's 256 pages, so again, not very long. It's got an average star rating of 3.85, and it's based upon the true story of this couple who I think they set sail on the Pacific Ocean on this because they basically left their life behind and set sail on this boat, and then they got stranded on the Pacific Ocean, and it's sort of their survival story.
Hit by a whale.
Yeah, as well. Yeah, that happened as well. Whale thing.
I mean, don't miss that out, Charlie.
No, I mean honestly, no, you can't forget the whale. Sorry.
So yeah, I think that sounds great. I quite like those stories about people who are like adrift at sea, and
it sounds super interesting. I think again, this non-fiction shortlist sounds amazing. I just think all of them, to me as a Charlie, it all sound cracking. Yeah, this is high priority, and because it's shorter, I think it's one I'd potentially get to quite early doors.
Yeah. Martha saying, listen to the audio after surgery this summer. It's so depressing. It's about grief. It's not an action book. Which one? No. Which one are you talking about? The art one? Or this one? Which one, Martha?
Which one? Yeah, that's clear. Yeah. Yeah, if it's about this one, that would put me off. I'd need to not read a book about grief. I can't handle that right now. Sorry, I can't.
And then last, super interested for this, Pixel Flesh, how toxic beauty culture harms women.
Yes, and so this was released the 9th of May. So another one that's eligible for the Women's Prize next year, the non-fiction prize. It's 384, so it's not super short, but again, not super long. So and it's got an average rating of 4.26. So this is again quite high. That might be because of it isn't well read. I do not know. I haven't checked the amount of ratings on this one, but yeah. And
she was talking about Maurice.
Yeah, I might leave that one a little bit, just for a little bit longer. Yeah. And thank you for telling us then, Martha, because otherwise I don't want to rush into a book that's going to make me that's not a good idea. So what I've written about Pixel Flesh is a generation-defining expose of toxic beauty culture in a digital age and how it's harming women. That's what I've written.
I mean, this is super topical right now, isn't it? And it's something that, I don't know, I feel like, you may disagree with me, Charlie, but I feel like we're less exposed to it in a way because we grew up in a non-digital era. So we see it, but it's not like, I don't look at covers of magazines and think, oh, I need to like get Botox.
No, I think tune.
We grew up before that became like a thing, and now we don't give a crap. So, quite frankly, but yeah, I can see it in the younger generation, and like in my stepdaughter, and she's constantly like bombarded with this stuff. Yeah, I mean, she was talking to me the other day about like cosmetic surgery that I've not even heard of. I didn't even know like these things were things. People injecting all sorts of crap into
People
their
do these things on their lunch breaks. Like people just go out and just have a little bit of Botox or whatever on their lunch break. Like this is quite a regular thing, isn't it? So yeah.
Yeah, and like so many people get like lip filler and stuff now, don't they? And it's just like
it's become very normal. It's like like kind of like going to the dentist.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, a lot of the like I know a lot of some of these things you can get done at those kinds of practices. Well, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah, interesting subject. Cynthia, you guys know Jo Hamya?
She's the author of The Hypocrite.
Oh right, she was one of the hosts for the Booker Prize podcast.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it was a New York Times book club pick. I feel like she's doing her thing.
Oh, that's really good.
I loved it. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you.
Honestly, that does make me really much more like excited for it actually. So yeah. Oh, and because it's so short, again, it's like 136 pages. Like even with Orbital, we didn't necessarily agree with. I'm not saying that we wouldn't agree with this one, but it's still. I feel like a book like that size, you can take a punt on it quite easy, can't you? If it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amelia's just come up to say she doesn't know anything about it. Is there a jury? So there are judges for each of the categories.
Should we go through that? We go talk it through.
I mean, I don't know who a lot of these people are, but children's.
Yeah,
Fred, Patrice.
Sarah Webb, I recognise. I think she must be a children's author. Obviously, I'm fairly certain. I remember Belle having a books by her. Louise Doherty was at the Women's Prize Live. She's like a thriller author, like crimey thriller author.
Okay. So for debut, and then Matthew Hennessy and Gillian Stern.
I don't know those two.
She doesn't look very stern.
No, she looks very nice.
Then Kevin Power, Will Smith, not that Will Smith, and Zoe West. And then non-fiction, Sophie McIntosh. Okay,
she's famous.
She was Boring Bread, wasn't she?
We don't. So we're not going to say that one because she's a thing.
Cursed Bread.
You know what? The more I'm away from Cursed Bread, and especially since I've read some other books, Cursed Bread is actually a lot more fascinating compared to some other books. So I feel like,
What, like the entire book a long list?
It's like made me think completely differently about. Sometimes it depends on what you're reading around it, something. And also with that one, it's because I had such high expectation going in that it wasn't. I feel like it's the blurb of it didn't match what the actual book was, so it wasn't. That was I was trying to backtrack and dig myself a hole, but it's probably not as bad as what I remember. She's meant to be very nice. I remember Eric really loves her as well.
Eric loves everyone because Eric's a sweetheart. but yeah, no, I am really excited for this list. I think the fiction shortlist and the non-fiction shortlist in particular look really interesting. Oh, Jen's saying it might be a different Sophie McIntosh. You're off the hook. You're off the hook. Oh dear. So yeah, I mean, where I'd like to know from the guys in the comments, like, where do you think you would start with it? Are you going to bother reading it? What are your thoughts? What do you like the look of, and what do you not like the look of?
Yeah, so what are your tops and what are your not bottoms, but like what's like the highest, and then what's like obviously the fine art one's probably the least, but
the least.
Maybe not now of what they've been saying.
Exactly. No, it's hard to pick. I think from the fiction, I really want to try the levitation one.
Yeah,
that's got me interested.
Yeah,
but all of the non-fiction ones that aren't about art.
If we have to go through, so each, I'm going to make you pick one from each category. If I make you.
Okay. Hang on. Let me just say that Ben also thought it was a disappointment, and it is definitely a different Sophie McIntosh. So we're okay.
What is a different person?
And Ben is plugging for Glorious Exploits. And Jen might read the pictures. Okay, so you want me to pick one from each?
So we have to pick one from each category. So and then you guys in the comments can do the same thing. So from the children's fiction category, if you had to pick one, what should you pick? If you had to pick one right now,
it would be Bird Boy from this.
I would say I would go the 12.
That would
Honestly,
be my
something slightly different,
second.
plus it does look really good.
That would be my second, yeah.
So
From
debut,
here,
yeah.
I think I'd have to go Glorious Exploits because otherwise Ben might not be friends with me anymore. But I do actually own that one, so I clearly had an interest in it before this came out. So
And I love you, Ben, but I would pick No Small Thing. Sorry, Ben.
Okay, fiction. I'm sticking with Levitation for beginners.
I'm probably going to go with Lost in the Garden, actually, just because it's available to me on Everand, and I want to get my Ben Read Good prompt done.
I was surprised that more of these weren't available on Everand.
Yeah, hopefully more will be added, because often with this stuff, when it happens with prizes, they can move quite quickly. So
yeah. Oh, this is a bit hard, isn't it?
Oh, now especially with what Martha said, I'm like, I think I've got one.
Okay, I think I'll go for Maurice and Marilyn.
I'm gonna go with An African History of Africa, I think.
Oh, I want to go for that too. I don't want to go for the Pixel Flesh.
Pixel Flesh. Do you know what? I might just with these. I would probably sample the audiobooks and see what tickles my pickle, as it were.
Can't pick. There is now a pig named after Glorious Exploits because of some prize the book won the other day. What?
I think I saw a picture of Ferdia Lennon with a pig. I didn't understand what it was about, so you have to. That must be what it's about.
If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what to say. I'm usually in for anything Irish or Greek, but the combination was weird for me. Interesting. Oh well, yeah. I will read it because
I just think this morning, how much fun was it? Like waking up and actually being excited by the list, because I think it was such a great list. I just think that all the lists themselves are really, really good. I'm not just saying this because I genuinely think that. It was we were messaging back and forth this morning, squealing at each other, and actually all our waffle girls were as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really nice mix of titles that I recognise and titles that I don't. I like that I've only read one from the list. I think that was similar last year. Was it The Bee Sting that you'd read last year from the list?
Yeah, that was like my favourite book, one of my favourite books of the year, and it won. That was like such a great moment that it won.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a great experience last year because I attempted to and DNF2 from the
But you know what, this is what happens sometimes.
This year, these judges are definitely like the cream of the crop this year.
Well, yeah, I think they are good judges.
Good judges. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to diving in.
Yay! Hopefully,
I feel like we've done this a little bit whistle stop because I'm a bit tired.
But you know what? I don't know what else. Yeah, I feel like we've done it. We've talked about the judges, we've talked about the books, we've talked about the ratings, we've talked about what we know about them, which isn't a whole lot necessarily, but you know.
Yeah, indeed. So I guess let's see as the reviews start to come in what people think of the different books because yeah, I'm excited. I don't look excited because I'm yawning, but I am excited.
Because you're very tired and you really need to just go to bed. But
I won't be going to bed for some hours. But yeah.
Excited though. Yay!
Cool beans. All right, well, we shall say goodbye then. It was lovely to see you all. And yeah, we'll be back obviously in the new year for the Women's Prize. So yeah, we have started planning. Well, Charlie's doing a better job of planning than I am. So
if you haven't heard from us, you think you should. It's probably because she hasn't had time to ask yet. Yeah. We are still going there. We're getting
yeah. I have spoken to Ben, it's all right.
That's all right then.
He's the only one I've spoken to from my list. So yeah.
That's right. It's fine.
Yeah. Right. Okay, we will see you guys later. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.